But first, what about this announcement by Donald Trump? He blindsided the Australian government with this, announcing it at a rally in Pennsylvania.
We are going to be imposing a 25% increase. We're going to bring it from 25% to 50%, the tariffs on steel into the United States of America, which will even further secure the steel industry in the United States. Nobody's going to get around that.
Imagine being the Australian PM waking up on Saturday morning to that. The PM and the Trade Minister had no advance notice of this. And this is seen by the Australian government as signs of a chaotic regime in Washington, which it believes is handing strategic advantage to Beijing in terms of who's the biggest world power by offending so many traditional allies on a regular basis. The hope at senior levels of the Australian government is that after the Trump tariff approach has hurt the American economy, the midterm elections due next year will change the administration's approach. Then, if that wasn't enough, ahead of the first Trump-Albanese meeting we were expecting, there was Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Richard Marles's admission on Friday that in a meeting with the US Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth on the sidelines of the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore, that Mr Hegseth had asked him and was asking other nations to commit to more defence spending. Mr Marles appeared to indicate he was open to this. We know the federal opposition's policy at the election was to increase Australia's defence spending to America's wish of 3% of GDP over time. My understanding is the Prime Minister's position is the same as at election time, that Australia will stick to its current trajectory of increasing defence spending to 2.33% of GDP by 2033. The government could spend more than that, but will rely on what it perceives Australia needs to determine whether it has to spend that extra amount. It won't set up some arbitrary spending target linked to the alliance with the US. All of this really does set the scene for a potentially difficult or even explosive meeting between Anthony Albanese and Donald Trump in Kananaskis, where the G7 will be held in a couple of weekends' time. And it seems all but certain now there will not be a visit from the Prime Minister to the White House on this trip, as had been seen as a possibility.